Hey guys, it's the magic hour, so why don't we go ahead and get started? How you doing? Happy Friday out there. I hope you're having an amazing day so far. Hey, thanks so much. I thought this would be a good chance to try out my new starting soon and intro scenes and all of this. So you're going to see some new graphics on the screen. Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you? Can't wait to finish up the 5th case here and the first Phoenix Wright game. Let's go ahead and load up our save file here. Alright. So where did we leave off? Well, the last time we were together, we were made aware of another murder that has taken place. Now, the suspect in this murder, who we are defending, is the chief prosecutor, right? Chief Prosecutor Sky, who is this person right here, Lana, right? And we've been hired to defend Lana. We've been hired by her sister, her younger sister, right? A little deja vu. Emma Sky, who is a budding scientist, right? So that's basically what's going on. And the body, in this case, was found in Edgeworth's car, right? What a heck of a thing to come back to the parking lot and find in your vehicle, right? Okay, so let's get into it. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there are still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me, no matter what the outcome. I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Ms. Sky, you remind me a lot of Mia. But there is one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. Yeah, she's trying to tell us our business a little bit. My first trial without a Fae helping me. No one's going to bail me out this time. Mia! I'll be alone in there. So I have to discover the truth all by myself. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. And we're not totally alone. We do have Emma on our side, right? And she's helpful. Court is now in session for the trial of Ms. Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in a courtroom since his trial. I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to her crime. A professional witness. Professional witness? Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls its first witness, Ms. Angel Starr, to the stand. Ah, yeah, the cough-up queen. The lady selling lunchboxes, right? Haven't I seen you somewhere? You ordered the caviar lunch, right? Oh-ho, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. Ooh, she's bribing the judge here. The judge is really wolfing it down. Ah, and for you, I have a Fiesta Bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? Ah, and you, sir. Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty, it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Name. Profession. Now. Me? The name is Angel Starr. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Hurry it up. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime. Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional. Huh? What exactly does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Ms. Angel Starr was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. Wow, I didn't expect that. I don't know about you. What? Miss Starr was a detective? Wait a minute. Until 2 years ago, she was a detective. Suspicious. Aha! I know who you are. Cough up? Cough up Queen Angel Starr, Your Honor. Long time no see. Very well. You may continue with the description, Ms. Starr. Just who is this lady? If I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot of the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. Block A is for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks. I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutor spaces, yes? The crime took place by a car in the back of the A block in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with this knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness, and an arrest was made on the spot. And who was this valiant witness? Why, it was me, Your Honor. Okay, you're extremely suspicious, Angel Starr. Okay, so we now have the parking lot floor plans that show Edgeworth's car. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime? Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor. It seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright? I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining? Oh man, don't crush my hope. If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Starr. Wait, are they talking about me? Indeed they are. Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. When I sensed something, perhaps it was my finely honed detective's intuition at work. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. My goodness. Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend? How touching. As you can see, there is no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman. So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. Really, you always knew, huh? Tell us how. How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime. Yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted. Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim, killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Wow! Ms. Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. Laid off? She was fired. To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I am a pro, as you know. My testimony is unbiased and flawless. Well, I don't know about that. You seem pretty biased to me. Very well. You may continue, Ms. Starr. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. Tell us more about that. This boyfriend, he's the detective? Not that boyfriend, the security guard. That boyfriend? You have several? Yes, this boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? Wow, she's flirted with the judge! The yet another boyfriend is still open for applicants. I'll stick with the lunches, thanks. Oh, he doesn't want to be fourth stringer here, right? Note to self. The judge had to think before replying. The security guard room is in the lot, in A block. It's up on the second level, so you can see everything from there. Okay, so they're up here, and then they've got a nice view to everything else. Okay, that would be the room with the security sign. Oh, hey, Buddy Bear, how you doing? Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. When I sensed something, perhaps it was my finely honed detective's intuition at work. I don't know about that. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. And that she's dunking on Edgeworth. She doesn't like his ride, huh? You gotta be insulting his whip. By garish car, you mean... Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes. Mr. Edgeworth's? Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth's. Wasn't it? Indeed it was. What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, you are sure it was the defendant. I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I am certain it was her. If she's telling the truth, we're doomed. Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always nitpick. That's true, we can. Witness, in your testimony, you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you are a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Huh? Rookie? Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter. Crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. That was inspiring. I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. You could cry plagiarism. I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed. A photograph? You took this? Oh gosh, look at her. She's wearing this long coat. It looks like it's got blood all over it. She looks really calm. If this is just after the murder, she looks extremely calm. The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap, I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchboxes is rigged with a camera. Oh my gosh. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. Witness, why am I only seeing this photograph just now? You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs. Well, this is most certainly the defendant. That's true. Uh-oh, that is unmistakably Lana Skye. So, what was the defendant doing at the time? The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. A knife? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. She's holding a knife? Where's the knife, guys? I don't see a knife. Let's go ahead and present this photo, because I don't see a knife anywhere. And you witnessed this? You saw Miss Skye stab the victim with the knife? As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl lunch. I'm sure that is a fine lunch. But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. All right, go ahead, Buddy Bear. That's your cue. All right. This is the photograph you took at the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Skye not holding a knife? Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection. That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth. Yet it was still stronger than your ever-feeble mind, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing. And how can you tell that? Blood splatter. Huh? See the dark crimson stains on the prosecutor's coat? Ah, yes, these dark stains on the prosecutor's coat. Okay. But it's a black and white photograph. Ah, yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem. Except you. Mr. Wright, are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse? You got a better idea? Well, we've got no choice but to object, right? We can't just leave it at this. This is not good. Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. That's right, it couldn't have been the exact moment. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it? If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. Not sure I understood it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Skye was cold, calculating, like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in that photograph. Well, are those gloves? Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. Yeah, that's a good point. It looks pretty suspicious. These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation. Premeditated murder, a serious offense. Witness, add this to your testimony. The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it. The rubber gloves prove it. Okay. Well, wait a minute. If Lana Skye planned to carry out a murder, why didn't she use a weapon that she brought with her? Right? Because instead what she did, allegedly, is she killed the victim using a knife that was found in Edgeworth's trunk. That doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense, right? Let's go ahead and try, how about presenting this knife? Witness, do you know what this is? Yeah, if the glove don't fit, we must acquit. That's right. I remember watching that live when it happened during the OJ case. Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell box lunches for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? The bloody murder weapon, a red car, all belonging to the prosecutor there? The defendant is the chief prosecutor for the district, right? Mommy, are the prosecutors bad people? The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? In your testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves. It seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing, the murder weapon? Oh. This knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon. That's right. That's right. Whoa. Get dunked on, lady. Order, order, order. Great. Now the tide is turning in our favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah! The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution needs to prove. Nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now. But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, why would she have been wearing... I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. How dare you? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now? Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way down to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it? So, if I ordered a pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy? In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. Man, pizza sounds great right now. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. Is that what really happened? Again and again with the knife? Let's look at the autopsy report. Death due to loss of blood. 1 knife wound. Died within an hour and a half of 4 p.m. Alright, so if there was only 1 knife wound, how was Lana Skye allegedly stabbing this victim again and again? Right? Alright, let's present this. Objection! You say she stabbed him again and again. But you couldn't have witnessed that. You couldn't have witnessed that, that's right. Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr. Huh? What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states that death was due to a loss of blood from 1 stab wound. Aha, you're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth. Yeah, thanks for the assist there, Mr. Edgeworth. I appreciate that. Yes, that's right. What did I call it? Pizzasaurus? That's right, the Pizzasauruses that they had in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game that Virtue was streaming, right? That's what it looked like to me. Clever girl. Alright. Aha, you're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth. What a hunk. He's my hero, really. What about my objection? No one noticed? Well, witness? You got the crime scene set, right? Oh man, look at that. She's so clever. She's got some ketchup making blood on the rice there, and then there's a little purple and gold fork, just like Edgeworth. Just like the knife. Oh, thanks. I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now, I realize that such mistakes are possible. So, you're saying you mistook something for blood? When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice. Then, tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify. Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. Her red muffler, huh? Miss Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off. The short wick burns out the fastest. It's a scientific fact. I don't know that that's science. I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax and even a really short wick might burn longer. That's true. Obviously, more scientific testing is required. Yes, that's super relevant. Okay. Well... her red muffler looked like blood to me, is what she said, right? That's the new testimony? Let's get to that again. Alright, her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. Is she wearing a red muffler in this picture? I don't see a red muffler anywhere. Let's go ahead and present this picture again. She's just telling on herself. She took this picture too. Is Hart around? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. She's not really making a lot of sense. It sounds like she's got an axe to grind here. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you've proved it yourself with this photograph. Huh? But that can't be. Only a professional lunch lady could be so utterly clueless. Oh man, he's dunking on her so much. Congratulations. Perhaps you've finally found your true calling in life. Harsh words, but good. In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. What was my objection? Chopped liver? But it was there, a scarf. No, not that, but something red, really. Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business. What? Very well. Witness, continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. The most important part? The part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Ooh, we're gonna have to see. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. You are quite determined about this scarf, aren't you? I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Star. That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake. Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten. No thanks. Note to self. Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. An oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr. Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you will. Yeah, I'm having a hard time picturing this as well, Virtue. I think she's lying. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah, yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. So, Miss Sky tried to run. I'm sorry my sister is so suspicious, Mr. Wright. Not as sorry as I am. But she didn't do it. You have to believe me. Alright, after the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Yeah, tell me more about that. You say quickly. Were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Maybe I should press her for more details? Yeah, I think we need to press her, right? This isn't enough detail. I'd like to see this on the floor plans, just to be safe. The Lunchland car was... She was a visitor, thus she was parked in the B block. Alright, so she's parked all the way over here. So you witnessed the murder from here? That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes. Is that correct, Ms. Starr? Yes, that's right. But there was a chain link fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. Oh, come on, lady. You're climbing a fence dressed in that getup? I don't think so. I don't think so. Amazing, the cough-up queen, lunch lady the athlete indeed. It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence. So she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high, too. Yeah, I don't think she climbed over this fence. So how did Miss Sky not get away? Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. Really? Well, I want more detail then. She did a double backflip? Yeah. No, she just like straight ran up the fence like Sonic the Hedgehog. She mentioned the muffler? What exactly did she say? If I remembered exactly, I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky. Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler. Just that one word? So, what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else. Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Her phone? She can't mean... I guess I need to ask further. By phone, do you mean this cell phone discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately? My memory. It's like a salmon, heading upstream, you see. No, the court doesn't see, Miss Starr. The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall. On the wall? That's right. Near the car. There was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently, it was out of order. And so she used her cell phone? Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying? You should, of course, add this to your testimony. The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. Alright, so now we have Lana's cell phone, in which she said the word muffler in a call made to Emma, her sister, at 5:18. So she said muffler theoretically after the murder. I saw it out. Saw it all. How she tried the phone on the wall, but had to use her cell instead. Really? Okay. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. Okay, so why did she try to use the phone on the wall? If she murdered somebody, she's trying to hide the body in the trunk, why in the heck is she alerting anyone to what she's doing, right? It doesn't make any sense for her to call security, right? And bust herself. All right, let's press her on this statement. Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court? Aha! I was going to ask the same thing. I'll only say this one time, so listen close, rookies. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled her own cell phone out of her pocket. And during that time, you climbed over the chain link fence. Then, when I boldly grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this? What is it, Mr. Wright? The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. Well, wait a minute. So she's telling us that she saw this whole situation of trying to use the emergency phone and it not working, and then using the cell phone instead, right? But at the same time, let's look at this. At the same time, her line of sight should have been blocked by this partition, right? There's a wall here. So how the heck could she see the chief prosecutor using the phone or doing anything if she was on the other side of this fence, right? This doesn't make any sense. She shouldn't have been able to see anyone. All right, let's go ahead and present this. Miss Starr, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Ms. Lana Skye. The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You, who together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Whoa, sounds like motive to me, you guys. This lady is ultra sus. She is S tier sus. And S stands for sus in this particular case. Well, Ms. Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? Huh, I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up. Ahem. Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Skye making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the back on the back side of this partition. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it. What? Whoa! Order! Order! What is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch, she's coughing up lies. Arrgh. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about... Well, she has to be lying about where she saw it, right? Miss Skye tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Starr to lie about it. Pointless to lie. I see. But say the witness did actually see Miss Skye using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? All the testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. The place from where Ms. Starr witnessed the crime was here. Well, I think that, it's probably more likely that she saw the crime from the security room, right? Because they keep talking about how you can see everything that's going on from the security room. And, of course, one of her many boyfriends is the security guard, right? So I think it's gotta be the security room. This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room? Indeed, the security guard room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second floor so you can see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Starr, how many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today, a man has got the better of Angel Starr. She seems pretty rustled. As they say, her jimmies are extremely rustled right now. Order! Order! Witness! What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better. I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished. And I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. The guilty? Is she talking about Miss Skye? Mr. Wright? Doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make sense. Huh? She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. The truth still stands. Objection! It still stands. I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason. So, tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright. Huh? Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Starr witnessed the crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it from B block. It must make a vital difference, but what? What would it change? Well, I think it changes a few things. Now, difference in the lighting, I don't know anything about that. The angle of view to the crime. Perhaps. It's definitely a different distance to the crime, though, right? She's not having to climb a fence. I'm going to go with distance to the crime. It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime. Objection! My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plans and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see. Objection! What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Skye? Well, witness? You... Yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? Quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. Boysenberry for the boyfriend. He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. What the heck? Oh, come on. That's why I had to go through the visitors' parking in B block. That's quite a detour. It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes? 5 minutes? Exactly, Judge. Exactly. This changes things considerably. But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. You have a point, and the spork is a wonderful invention. Would you like another caviar lunch? Absolutely. Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do I have any evidence to stop this? Well, I think we're gonna have to object, right? We can't just leave it as it is. 5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest? Think about it. You could make pasta in that amount of time. If you like it al dente. I've got lunch boxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie. A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange? If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey! Don't get the wrong idea, I didn't kill anyone. But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time was different. Miss Skye dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Yeah. Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, is the next witness ready to go? Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it. We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright. That was too close. I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned. All right. Nice work. Uh-oh. Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's the one she tried to foist off on me. I prefer to not take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence. What was that? Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes? My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr. Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox? Woohoo! A triple-decker! Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Oh man, so she bribed the judge with lunchboxes so she can give more testimony. Great. Let's hear about this decisive evidence. Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. What's she gonna pull out of her lunchbox this time? I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? Two types of blood were found on this shoe. One was, of course, the victim's. And the other blood type? Matched that of the defendant, Ms. Lana Skye. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. Wow. Shoe, huh? Okay. What? There was blood found on that shoe? Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Yeah, you're right. You're prosecuting this murder and you don't have some vital evidence like this. Simple. As I've already said, I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed? Has this lady ever heard of chain of custody? You can't just take evidence with you, lady. Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence. What? You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. Alright, so now we have the shoe placed into the court record. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Well, let's take a look at this evidence first, right? Because we can turn this thing around and around. Okay, so there's blood on the top of the shoe, right? And there's also blood on the underside of the shoe. So this to me implies that the victim had to have been alive at some point, right? While blood was on the ground, they stepped in the blood. But didn't Angel say that Lana knocked over an oil drum full of water? I don't know how she could have knocked over an oil drum full of water. Water is pretty heavy, after all. It weighs about 8 pounds per gallon. So a huge drum like that, it would be extremely heavy. All right, let's see here. This blood, it's my sister's, right? It appears so. Lana's right hand was bandaged when I saw her in jail. She must have cut herself at the time of the crime. Poor sis. All right, let's turn this over here. Ah, there's blood here too. On the sole of the shoe, it's gotta be the victim's. He must have stepped in a puddle of his own blood. All this blood, it's horrible. This blood might be an important clue. Yeah, I agree. I think the blood is an important clue. Okay. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One, of course, was the victim's. And the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Ms. Lana Skye. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. Alright, so let's go ahead and press her on this statement here, because I don't think it is decisive. I can't let this evidence go through without a fight. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Ew! These lunches are sounding terrible now. Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some, like your client. She isn't enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or don't you have a problem with this shoe? A problem? This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? Well, of course there is a problem. There must be a problem, right? So, if I'm not imagining things, I'd say there is one critical problem with this evidence, a clear contradiction. That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now, but you couldn't take the heat, could you? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with this evidence. Alright, well, I think it's this blood on the underside, right? I wonder if you noticed. There's blood on the bottom of the shoe. Don't mess with me, rookie, or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe. Indeed. There's quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the bottom of his shoe? Alright, let's see here. We need to find something that would show... Wait a minute. So this is taken after the crime was committed, right? And the victim stepped in his own blood, right? Where is the puddle of blood? Shouldn't there be a puddle of blood in this picture? Right? Where is it? Okay, alright. Let's go ahead and present this picture. The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint? Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime? Aha! As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. Then where are they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. That's true, we did. We didn't see any bloody footprints anywhere. Order, order, order! Well, witness? What, huh? Great going, Mr. Wright. But it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. Think, Mr. Wright, think. Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? I see. Now I get it. Get what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There was one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr. It's true. I thought that was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, Allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that. I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Witness. Well, was the oil drum empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? What does that mean? Still don't get it, Mr. Wright? Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason? Aha! You don't mean... Yes, the suspect knocked over that oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase the blood stains that would become evidence against her. Whoa! I don't know about this, guys. So a 55-gallon drum of water at 8 pounds per gallon, that would be about 440 pounds that she would have had to tip over. I don't know that she's gonna be doing that. I think it's unlikely, right? That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoes tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then, after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs. Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence. That reminds me, Miss Skye's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she'd cut herself when she stabbed him? So how in the heck is she doing any of this? She's got a hurt hand, she's tiny. The drum weighs almost 450 pounds. I don't know about this. So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe? Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something, please. What? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime and she tried to conceal it. But... enough. There is no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor. Very well. But Angel Starr is on the prosecution's side. She could have been lying about the water. This court finds the defendant, Ms. Lana Skye. Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? Me? Did you just say that I, Angel Starr, was on the prosecution's side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well. I thought you'd had your fill, but here you are, demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence. Wait. Witness, don't tell me you have something else. Objection! The time for deliberations is past. Any further comments and you will be held in contempt of court. Ooh. Your threats don't scare the cough-up queen. Look at this. Oh my gosh, look at this picture. Wow. This is the money shot right here. A photograph. I had it just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim. I see no room for error in this evidence. Mr. Wright, wait. Look at the asphalt in this photo. Wait a minute. Hey, it's clearly wet. There is wet asphalt here, right? But there's also something else going on that's kind of weird. There seems to be something in the tailpipe of this car. Do you see that? What the heck is going on there? Okay. Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia. Right, wet or not. Don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up off the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end. Ooh, Mia inspiring us from beyond the grave, right? This is the last piece of evidence. Very well. This time I'd like to declare a verdict for good.
Objection!
Yeah, Phoenix! Let's do this. Your Honor, wait! What is it with you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait? No, it can't. Then it'll be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. All right, Buddy Bear. There you go. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, Wright, are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah, I'll think later. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this. I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court the problem in this photograph. Well, I think probably this weird thing here, right? What is this? The problem in this photograph is here. What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler. Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor, you just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf of any kind in this photograph. A muffler is also a part of a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system, a pipe. I see, and I see. What's that suspicious-looking claw sticking out of the car's muffler? Huh. So what if there's something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Objection!
Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony. What? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth and the muffler is related to this case. I think it has to do with Lana saying the word muffler on the call to Emma, right? Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court. Ah, yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler. Ah! Ugh! Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Oh, whoa! Well, it seems we will have to suspend the proceedings. Suspend? I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered here, we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed? I suppose so. Whew. That was close. But we made it. At least for now. This court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all. He's still hungry? Yeah, didn't he eat like 5 lunches? Oh well, no matter. Alright, let's save our game here. And keep on moving. Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Are trials always like this with you? Like you're swimming up from the bottom of a lake, about to reach the surface, but no matter how hard you paddle, you never seem to get there? Pretty much. Except today we're swimming in quicksand. So what happened to your sister anyway? Apparently, she got called off to the judge's chambers. Probably something to do with that piece of cloth. So, this is where we turn this trial around, right? Our only weapon, a tiny, insignificant piece of cloth. I'm the one who's starting to feel tiny and insignificant, to tell the truth. Hola, partner. They say you show a red cloth to a bull, it'll fire up its temper. That's what they told me when I was a youngin', at least. Officer Marshall. Thought I'd come take a look-see at how the trial's going. Looks like I'm late. They got the home ranch locked down tighter than a fort in enemy territory. That hard to slip out, huh? What is going on over there anyway? All the police I've seen these last 2 days have really been on edge. Don't you got enough on your plate without worrying about other people, compadre? You could be worrying about the chief prosecutor's taste in mufflers, for example. Officer Marshall? The whole muffler thing didn't have anything to do with scarves. She wasn't even wearing a scarf. You don't say. Now don't that just beat all? Huh? I've seen the red breeze blow at her slender neck many a time. I saw it that day too. She was wearing a red muffler. What? At the awards ceremony that afternoon. Edgeworth seen it too, I'd reckon. What does that mean? In the photograph taken at the crime scene, she wasn't wearing a scarf. So, Miss Starr wasn't mistaken. Well, it's about time. Remember, partner, sometimes you gotta grab the bull by the horns, and sometimes you just gotta let that bull go where it will. Time will tell. Ugh, I have a bad feeling about this. So, what are we swimming in now, Mr. Wright? If it's steak sauce, I can hook you up with some fine ribs. Ooh-wee! He really is a cowboy, isn't he? I'd like to resume? What's up? The judge keeps looking over at the prosecution. Oh, wow, he's looking pretty angry. Is something wrong, Mr. Edgeworth? Your face is blue, your lips are purple, you're sweating bullets. That furrowed brow, those grinding teeth, those watery eyes. What's more, your eyes are unfocused, you're doubled over, your back is bent. It can't be. This can't happen. I wonder what happened to Mr. Edgeworth. Well then, I believe it is time we continued on with this trial. During our recess, I had requested that the prosecution conduct an investigation. This is unacceptable! It seems our prosecutor is quite beside himself. Excuse me. Knock, knock? Hmm? Who's there? Who's this guy? What's with this guy? A strange, stuffy aura seems to be filling the courtroom. Who is this guy? Hey, the temperature rose 5.7 degrees when that man came in. Oh, obviously, he must be the devil himself, right? Just kidding. Who on earth is he? Ah, it's you. Who is he? Oh, sorry I'm late, Udgy. The roads were packed, it's just me. Long time no see, Udgy. How you been? Swim much these days? Ah, hello, hello. No, I've been so busy. Oh, he's talking to the judge. Busy smizzy, Udgy, my boy. You have to make time to relax. Yes, indeed. Udgy seems to be his nickname for the judge? I'm afraid you're right. Very afraid. Sorry, but who are you? Aha! So you're Righto, the attorney. I've heard good things about you, son. Eh? Thanks? So sorry about our little worthy giving you all that trouble, eh? You know, we should all go swimming together sometime. Jolly. Little worthy? Mr. Wright. You don't know the district chief of police? He's the chief of police. This guy? Chief of police? He's the top-ranking police officer in the entire district. Name's Gant. Damon Gant. Pleased to meet you, everyone. So, to what do we owe this honor today? It's been over 2 years since you last came to this courtroom, hasn't it? Well, it's worthy here. Look at the poor fellow. I just thought I'd help out by bringing this. Hey, that's my sister's muffler. So Ms. Starr wasn't just seeing things. When the crime occurred, Miss Skye really was wearing that muffler. But to think that it was stuffed into that exhaust pipe. On little Worthy's car, no less. Boy, he's really taking his time telling us what he wants to say, isn't he? It's really quite embarrassing, even for us. What's this? It's what you'd call a switchblade knife. Quite perplexing, this. Chief, what kind of outfit are you running? Mr. Edgeworth, how could they miss such a vital piece of evidence? If your investigators are this lax, how do you expect us to do our job? Now, wait a minute, Worthy. I've no desire to hear your excuses. I'm telling you to wait. Or didn't you hear me? Have a look at this document where it says person in charge of investigation. There's no mistaking that signature, is there? Miles Edgeworth? That's not fair. On the day of the crime, I had your head in the clouds because you got that award. I know how you feel. But you're the person in charge. I'll expect a written apology. What? Are you serious? Don't be too upset. We'll find a way to clean up this mess that you made. This is the first time I've seen Mr. Edgeworth at a loss for words. This kind of major blunder is unlike you, Mr. Edgeworth. Gah! The court accepts this new evidence. But I'd like to ask the defense a favor first. Yes? Just to be sure. I'd like to take a look at the blade of this knife. The blade, Your Honor? Well, I don't see why not. Could you open it up for me, I wonder? Yes, well, I think all you have to do is push that switch and... If I cut my finger, Mr. Wright, I won't be able to pound my gavel anymore. Yeah, but if I cut my finger, I won't be able to point it at people anymore. Come on, just hurry up and open it. All right. Okay, well, we have to click the button to open it, right? There's also this tag here. SL92. There's a small tag on this knife. It seems to say SL92. What does that mean? Well, I've heard something similar. DL6 of DL6 incident fame. But it's strange. Huh? What is? I'm not certain, but I get the feeling I've seen this somewhere before. Letters like this, or letters that looked a lot like this, somehow. Okay. Well, let's take a look at this then. Ah! Don't scare me like that! I'm the one who's scared. Look at this knife blade. The tip is broken off. And this dark red stain. Blood? Yeah, I don't know. Found at the crime scene wrapped in the defendant's muffler. Small tag attached. This does not excuse the actions of the police department. Hold on a second. Wait. Let's look at this knife again. There's two knives. First of all, he had one stab wound, but there are two knives with blood on them, right? Suspicious. She cut herself with one knife, right? And then the other was the murder weapon. I'm wondering if she cut herself with this knife, but something I noticed about this knife, and you probably noticed it too, is it looks like the end of the blade is broken off. This looks like it got busted, right? I wonder if that's going to be important. It doesn't let us click on it right now, but it seems suspicious to me. Okay. I would like to hear an explanation from the chief of police himself. I'm terribly sorry, but could I ask you to testify for us? About the split between the prosecutors and the police, and this knife? Sure thing, not a problem, not even a little one, really. This knife is special, but I can't say how here. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. A detective was killed at the police department, see? What a mess. The time of the crime? 5:15. Scary coincidence, eh? It's not officially linked to this here case, so I can't talk much about it. Wait a minute, there was another murder at the police department at exactly the same time, huh? Suspicious. There was a murder at the police department? A detective? That's hush-hush information, Udgy. We haven't exactly announced it yet. Wait a second. You said 5:15. That's the exact time that Detective Goodman was killed in the prosecutor's office. Order! Anyway, we at the department were all a-flustered, as you might well assume. We're in the middle of a top secret investigation. Don't tell anyone, okay? I think we understand the police department's situation. Well, Mr. Wright? 2 detectives killed at the same time in 2 different places? The chances of that are really slim, scientifically speaking, of course. I'd like to exercise my right to cross-examine the witness. Yeah, I think that's a good move, Phoenix. There's definitely something weird going on here. Very well. However, keep your questions focused on the case at hand. Alright, let's see. This knife is special, but I can't say how here. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. A detective was killed at the police department. See, what a mess. The time of the crime, 5:15. Scary coincidence, huh? It's not officially linked to this here case, so I can't talk much about it. 2 detectives were killed at 5:15, one at the prosecutor's office and one at the police department. That can't be a coincidence. And that knife. What was it doing there? I better check this knife out. Okay. This knife is special, but I can't say how here. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. Well, there is a connection between this knife and Goodman. There's an evidence tag. Right? Let's go ahead and present the knife. Well... Oh, wait a minute. This is it here. Goodman's note, right? It's upside down. If we turned it over, it would say SL9, right? Just like it says on the knife. That's pretty sneaky, huh, Virtue? Yeah, alright. Let's go ahead and present this. Wait a second. Ah, at last! An honest-to-goodness objection. This knife. This has to have something to do with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? Aha! An honest-to-goodness what do you mean from Udgy. This is great! Look at the tag on this knife. It reads SL9 2. And this is important. Why? Over here we also have a memo that was on the body of the victim. What's this? 6 minus 7s 12-2? Your Honor, it's upside down. Upside. The printed name on the memo makes it look like it's right side up. But turn it around and what do you get? Aha! Whoever wrote this note was holding the paper upside down. SL9. That's the same thing that is written on the knife's tag. Order! Order! Well, Chief? Ah, well. I guess the cat's out of the bag. You win, Righto. I win? What game is this guy playing? This knife was evidence in a case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. Really? Tell me more about that. Stolen evidence, huh? So this knife was stolen? Yes, but on the day of the murder. It was evidence, you say. Was it, in fact, a murder weapon? Nice, nice, nice. Good show, Little Worthy. It was a murder weapon as it happens. It was evidence from a case long since solved. So this knife was stolen on the day of the murder. And it was found in the exhaust pipe of EDGEWORTH'S car. Hard to think there isn't a connection there. That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. Okay. A detective was killed at the department, see? What a mess. Interesting. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. A victim was killed at the police department. What? Okay, so a detective killed at the police department. Tell me more about that, because that is super suspicious. On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department? That's a fact. Surprising, isn't it, Udgy? I'm at a loss for words. And the perpetrator? Do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact. Just arrested? That was quick. But there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe you could help, Righto. I suppose I could help. If you help me by giving me data on your case? Oh, good one. This kid's sharp. Okay, here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing and one thing only. Okay. We're gonna have to choose here carefully. Where the victim was found, how the victim was killed, when the victim died. Well, we can already assume how the victim was killed, right? Because we have a knife that he said was a murder weapon. When the victim died, we already know that. It was at 5:15 on the same day of this other murder, right? So how about where the victim was found? So tell me, where was the victim found? Well, I can't speak on where the corpse was found. But I can say the crime took place in the evidence room at the police department. The evidence room? Wait a second. I have heard of that. The evidence room? Didn't he mention that in his testimony just now? This knife was evidence in a case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. There's the connection between the two cases. You seem happy, Mr. Wright. Happy? We just got handed our ticket to go to town on this case. With the link between the two cases established, we finally have some leverage. Now we can get Gant to testify about the details. It's not officially linked to this here case, so I can't talk much about it. Really? But it is linked, right? Chief, the defense's position is simply this. The connection between these two cases has already been proven. You don't say. Well, out with it, Righto. What's your connection? Yes, out with it, Mr. Wright. The connection is a place mentioned in the testimony we just heard. The knife found in the lot was stolen from the police department's evidence room. Not to mention the victim had on him the case number on the knife's evidence tag. So we also know that the detective murdered at the police department was killed in that very same evidence room. Indeed, there do seem to be too many connections for it to be a coincidence. You two make a good pair. It took my men 2 days to find out what you deduced right here. Chief, I request that you release your information on the victim at the police department. See, that's the tricky part. It hasn't been announced yet and all. Can we get the information unofficially? Sure, why not? It's unofficial after all. What? Really? Who would have guessed? I'll cooperate, but I can't reveal the name of the victim at the department, okay? Okay. Well, what can you tell us? If you're gonna tell us a little, why not tell us everything? Well, case information is sticky stuff. You have to do everything properly. Oh, well, I guess I might as well try to get what I can out of him. Alright, well, how about the victim's ID number, right? Okay, how about you tell me the victim's ID number? Huh? Sure, why not? It's not like you'll be able to tell who it is from that. Of course not. You won't tell me their name after all. We keep a tight lid on ID numbers, so don't go getting your hopes up. The number is 584-2189. Wait a minute. Sort of like the ID number on Goodman's ID? So he was killed, right? Something's not adding up here, you guys. Well, that's quite long. And we have to remember these. It drives me nuts. 82. I can't do it. You didn't even get the first number right. Mr. Wright, does this tell you anything? The ID number of the victim at the police department. This tells me something. Of course it does, right? Actually, it does, Your Honor. It does. I think. Meaning? It has to be what I think it is. But what does this mean? Well, let's hear what the defense has to say. You say the ID number of the detective who was murdered at the police department tells you something. What does it tell you? Let's present this. Witness. What is it, Mr. Wright? You're grinning like a schoolgirl on prom night. No, it's just, I got confused. And this is news? Huh? Just come out with both guns blazing, like you always do. The police department, the prosecutor's office, 2 places, 2 detectives murdered at one time. Actually, I happen to have a police ID number here. Oh ho, is it yours? No, Your Honor, I'm a defense attorney, remember? This is the ID number of our victim, Detective Goodman. Shame on you, Righto. Personnel IDs are top secret. Detective Goodman's ID number is 584-2189. And this means what exactly? Huh? Wait, that ID number we heard from the chief earlier. That started with 82. I've forgotten. You didn't even get the first number right, again! The number the chief of police gave us was 584-2189. Wait a second, Wright. What does this mean? That's what I want to know. The 2 ID numbers are identical. In other words, the detective killed in the police department's evidence room was Bruce Goodman. What does our witness think about that? Oh, sharp as a tack, Righto. Sharp as a tack. But wait, Detective Goodman is our victim. He was killed at 5:15 in the underground parking lot. Yet, a Detective Bruce Goodman was also killed at the police department. In the evidence room, at the exact same time. That's impossible. So, what we're saying is, the same person was killed at the same time? And in a completely different location? Yeah, now it's getting crazy, right? Order, order, order! Chief, what does this mean? No, what I wanted to know is, why didn't I hear about this? Yes, it's top secret, fine, but I'm the prosecutor in charge of the case. Now, just wait a second, Worthy. No need to get all flustered. Your Honor, the police department has made a grave error in this case. Wait. I said wait. Or didn't you hear me? The oversight, the grave error. Mr. Edgeworth, they're yours. What? How dare... We informed you yesterday. I believe it was our Officer Meekins who brought you the news? Officer Meekins? Mr. Wright, where have we heard that name before? Wait! Aha! Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth, anywhere on the premises? Wait a minute, you guys. Look at his hand. Look at his left hand all bandaged up. This guy is super suspicious. I'm here at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir. You don't mean him? According to Meekins, you didn't accept the report. Hard to believe. But your officer, he told me. He said that report had nothing to do with the Lana Sky incident. Detective Bruce Goodman murdered in the police department evidence room. Mr. Edgeworth, the victim's name is written right on the top of the report. Gah! Why didn't your officer tell me? Honestly, I'm not sure if that officer was capable of making the connection. He did seem challenged. In any case, this is a serious error. A gross negligence of duty on your part, Worthy. But sir, you could have submitted that report this morning to the court as evidence. Then No such luck this time, Worthy. Or should I say, unworthy? Ooh, burning him again. What? Now, what was the second rule of evidence law, Well, Mr. Wright? Huh? Oh, well, it's, rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And how is this rule relevant? Normally, you submit a list of evidence to be used in court before the trial. This report wasn't on that list. So, what does this mean? I couldn't submit this evidence until a connection was proven in court. The connection was just proven by Wrighto over here. Good job, Wrighto, my boy. Huh? I was just doing my job. No. No! Oh, man. It seems we have come to the end of this trial. I know you're going through a tough time, Worthy. What with all those rumors? You were even in the defendant's chair just this past December. I apologize for this terrible lack of due diligence on my part. Mr. Edgeworth, please, just give me one day. I'll get to the bottom of what happened, if it's the last thing I do. You'd better get results this time. Really. You have my profound apologies, sir. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I don't think there's ever been an error this serious in the history of this court. I will grant one further day as the prosecution has requested. Will that be sufficient, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Whatever your punishment for this is, for your sake, I hope it's not decisive. Very well. Court is adjourned. Oh gosh, this isn't looking good. And now Edgeworth is in trouble too, huh? Pretty brutal. Let's go ahead and save our game. It is intense, right? Alright, we're back at our office. Mr. Wright? So, what's going on with the case, anyway? I'm a little confused. Huh? Well, let's see. What is going on? The victim, Detective Bruce Goodman, was stabbed to death after 5 p.m. on the 21st. He died in the prosecutor's parking lot and the police department's evidence room. What's this "and the evidence room" part? The prosecutor's office and the police department, they're 30 minutes apart by car. Oh wow, so how could he have possibly died in 2 different places, 30 minutes apart, at the same time, right? Well, that's what we're going to find out. Or try to, at least. Alright, let's do it! Glad she's in good spirits, but I'm not sure she's going to be much help with this. Don't be so sure, Mr. Wright. Huh? Look, we're in this together, right? I'll prove that these thick-rimmed glasses of mine aren't just for show. Let's go. Science awaits us. Ooh, we're already back at the parking lot, huh? I wonder what we're gonna do. You know, I really don't think we should worry about the police department murder. There wasn't even a body found there. Who cares? Yeah, it was only our victim who was killed in their evidence room. No biggie. Besides, my sister would never do such a thing. I know it. That oil drum, was it empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. My sister, erasing evidence at the crime scene? Never. Even though she says they don't get along, Emma really likes her sister. That's not it at all. It's just, we're both professionals at what we do, and I trust her. Big words for a high school student. Well, whether there was blood on the floor or not, the water in that oil drum washed it all away. Ignore the strength of my science at your own peril, Mr. Wright. Huh? What's that grin for? This situation calls for one thing, and that is luminol testing fluid. Oh, she has luminol, okay. Luminol? Blood is sticky stuff, you know. You can't just wash it away with a little water. Even if you can't see it, it's still there. But wouldn't the police have already done those tests? Never trust anyone's eyes but your own, Mr. Wright. Just give it a try. Me? Why do I have to do it? I'm a minor. I can't even drink yet. We're testing bloodstains with this stuff, not drinking it. Here, look. I'll lend you these glasses. Huh? You had an extra pair of those things? Oh, they're tinted glasses. You see that? Okay, to test for a blood reaction, just spray the luminol on it. Like this, see? Press enter to spray it on. Okay, let's find us some bloodstains. Okay, where might there be bloodstains? Oh, right here. Let's examine those. I can see her eyes shining behind those glasses. So, is this a bloodstain? It's so... Ugh. Emma, you're shaking. It's just... This is my first time seeing real blood. Scientific investigation in action. Okay, well, we definitely know that this is a bloodstain. But doesn't something strike you as odd? Scientifically speaking, of course. What's odd about this, scientifically? Well, I think the amount of blood is odd, right? Because if he had been killed here, there should be a lot of blood on the ground, right? The perpetrator and Detective Goodman fought here, right? Don't you think there'd be a little more blood? I definitely think so. I mean, look at all the blood on the sole of the victim's shoe. It is pretty strange. If they fought here, there'd have to have been more blood than this. Hey, Mr. Wright. I'm gonna mark up the floor plans where we found a blood stain, okay? See, I'm pretty handy to have around, right? Yeah, and this stuff's pretty handy too. I saved up my allowance to buy that. Okay. So we have this, received from one very proud-looking Emma Skye. We can't be sure that the police will reveal all their evidence in court. Sometimes they fail to mention evidence that doesn't fit with their view of the case. Then let's drag that hidden evidence out into the light of day. Yeah. It feels like we're really investigating a crime now, doesn't it? Guess I should give this a spray on anything suspicious. Ha! I wonder how that fluid of yours would react to a nice deli box. Miss Starr. You only trust your own eyes, hmm? Not bad, you two. This day-old deli box is on the house. Sorry, it's just that kind of lead-in doesn't really get my mouth watering. All right, let's talk. Tell me about the trial. You certainly put me in a tight spot today. My apologies, Miss Starr, but... No, it's okay. It was my fault. Oh, we know. I witnessed everything from that security room right there. But I was afraid that wouldn't sound convincing enough, you see. I was wrong to think that. I'm sorry. Sorry? You lied on the witness stand. That's unforgivable. Little girl, don't forget what's important here. Even if the place I witnessed the events from was different, I still saw what I saw. I saw Chief Prosecutor Skye stab a man in cold blood, and that testimony still stands. Ah! I swear it on my honor as a detective, she stabbed Goodman. I know this photograph has something important to tell us, but what? So, you were a detective, weren't you, Miss Starr? Yes, it was a long time ago. Well, 2 years ago. No matter how hardened the criminal, when they faced me, they coughed it up. Coughed it up? They confessed. They babbled like babies. You know, I may seem like a demon sometimes, but I can be an angel too. I wouldn't doubt it. Every day, I drag the dirt out of the mouths of suspect after suspect. And before long, they called me the cough-up queen. Oh, and here I thought someone had gotten food poisoning from your lunches. And you were let go? Fired? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if these prim and proper prosecutors hadn't let me go, I'd still be one today. It's all because of that case, the SL9 incident. Ah, okay, so yet another coincidence here. She was fired because of the SL9 incident, and the prosecutors were the ones that let her go, right? SL9? Wait, she doesn't mean... Let's go ahead and present her something to do with the SL9 case, right? How about this note here, right? Okay. All right, let's present the note. What do you think about this? The SL9 incident. It's written on that knife. And on that note, Goodman. Goodman was the head detective on that case, you know? Really? That knife was evidence from that case, the murder weapon. It was due for transferal the very day Goodman was killed. As I suspected, the SL9 case isn't over, not yet. Do you think you could tell us more about the SL9 incident? Well, let's ask her. Oh, she hasn't shown anything yet. Okay, well, maybe we need to show her something else? Let's show her Goodman's ID. I had one of those up until 2 years ago. Back when you were the cough-up queen, right? We found this ID card here in this parking lot. Well, there's no mistaking that. It's definitely Goodman's. But It's the same ID as the man who was killed at the police department. That's impossible. I wish I could be so sure. Alright, does she have anything else to say yet? No? Guess we gotta keep showing her stuff. Let's show her... How about this crime scene photo? Right? If you think about it, I could have taken that picture from the guard room. But even I get flustered sometimes. So, you went straight to the scene of the crime? I rushed toward the chain link fence in an attempt to stop the murder. That's when I took this photo, yes. In other words, 5 minutes after the crime? Those 5 minutes are the whole problem. A hole in my testimony, as it were. The 5 minutes weren't the problem, Miss Starr. You lying was the problem. Listen, little girl. I've had my testimony disregarded before. And I wasn't going to have it disregarded again. Just like that time. That time? Ooh, maybe she's got something to say now? Yeah, finally. It's about time. That incident really opened up my eyes to the truth. We're nothing to them. Disposable. Disposable? To who? 2 years ago, it was the biggest case I'd ever handled. The police and the prosecutors were desperate for decisive evidence. So, they didn't solve it? On the contrary, it was solved quite cleanly. The criminal was caught and executed. Executed? Yes, the criminal got what was coming to him. It doesn't get any cleaner than that. The only problem was, they never did find decisive evidence. Not a shred. What? But the criminal was executed, right? Oh man, did they execute someone who was innocent? That's brutal. On the basis of evidence. Of a sort. Made-up evidence. What? You mean they executed someone with fabricated evidence? The best part came several months after the trial. Every detective involved with the case was dealt with. Some were demoted to patrolmen. Others found themselves out of a job. And you were one of those? Myself and one other person you know well. Wait, could it be... Exactly. Detective Jake Marshall. Oops. I mean, Police Department Security Detail Officer Jake Marshall. As professional detectives, we investigated that case from every angle. Jake was particularly determined. And then it was over, and he was demoted. However, he hasn't forgotten, and neither have I. You haven't forgotten SL9? There was another side to that case, a hidden side. That's what we're after now. And no one up in their fancy offices can stop us. Wait! Those lunches you sell. There's only one reason I come to sell lunches in this accursed office. I come here to meet old friends, boyfriends that can help me investigate. Miss Starr's old boyfriends. How many does she have, anyway? Just when all the detectives on SL9 have disappeared, we find new evidence. There has to be a connection. So, Rookie. What? It seems like you're serious about investigating this case. Yes? Then you should take this. Salisbury steak lunch? I know a certain guy who might help you if you tempt him with this treat. Oh, so this is a way for us to bribe Officer Marshall specifically. Okay, well she definitely would know. Being that he is one of her many boyfriends, right? Okay. Miss Starr? Officer Marshall, is he your, are you his, are you going out? Why do you want to know? I was just wondering what happened to him. A long time ago, when he was helping my sister do cases, he was so nice. He got along so well with my sister, it made me jealous. And he was nice to me too, back then. This would be when Officer Marshall was a detective. But now he's so cold. Jake and I are merely cooperating on this investigation. We're putting the past to rest, as it were. Nothing more than that. I see. Thank you. Officer Jake Marshall. Well, okay. I think our next step then is going to be to go bribe Officer Marshall with this lunch. And I think he's going to be at the police department, right? Because he's the guard at the police department. All right, here we are. It's even busier here today than it was yesterday. The detectives are running around so fast they're blurring. I suppose it makes sense. A detective did get killed here after all. So, the evidence room, the scene of the crime. According to the pamphlet we got at the front desk, here it is. She's like a kid in an amusement park. Oh, a real crime scene. Let's go take a look. All right, well, let's go. But the first thing I think we need to do is go to the guard station to see Jake Marshall, right? Oh, geez, look at this place. What's with the decor in this place? It's very eccentric. According to the pamphlet, this is the guard station for the evidence room. So beyond that door is the evidence room. The scene of the crime? It sure seems that way. Oh. What's wrong? It's those cacti. They're so prickly, so imposing. It's hard to think straight. If you can't handle the cacti, stay out of the desert. What I want to know is, if this is a guard station, where is the guard? I have a feeling I know who he is already. Let's examine this place a little bit, huh? Yipes, these sure are prickly. They must be the real deal. I would think just one big one would be sufficient. These cacti are a lot like my sister, actually. How so? Encased in a cold, rigid shell with spines pointing in every direction. Just like her. I'm not so sure I see the resemblance. It's more an attitude thing than a physical similarity. Okay, got some video feed here. Looks like there's a video feed from the evidence room here. There's a light blinking below the monitor. It says, recording. I bet we could use this computer to check on who went in and out from here. Got some booze. Got his little outfit here. There's a security guard uniform hanging here. It looks more like a costume than a uniform, honestly. A leather jacket, leather pants, a leather... What was that called again? A punchy? A paunchy? A pinchy? I know, a poochie. She must mean a poncho, right? Wait, maybe that wasn't it. It's a poncho, but I think I'll keep that information to myself for the time being. All right. We've investigated just about everything here. This swinging door makes the place look like some kind of saloon. But look, it's nailed shut. You can't get in that way. Of course not. If you went in through here, the cactus would fall over. Ouch! I'd say it'd be more of a yeah myself. Okay. The evidence room is beyond that door. Let's just walk in. It won't open. You thought it'd be open? I think we need someone's permission to go in there first. Okay, well, I guess we aren't going to be seeing ourselves into this room anytime soon. So let's go ahead and go back to the entrance of the police department. This place is charged with frantic energy as always. Please! Huh? Wasn't that? 1 steak lunch, please. Oh, it's you. Detective Gumshoe. Now's no time for chit-chat, pal. I'm a busy man. What I really need is a steak lunch from Lunchland. Oh, you mean one of these? Actually, it's not for sale. I think I just heard the sound of his heart breaking. Oh, poor Gumshoe. He just wants lunch. Now is no time for despair. We've caught our criminal. Now we just need evidence. Yeah, that is pretty important, getting the evidence. The criminal. You mean... You heard about the stabbing in the police department evidence room, right, pal? On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department? And the perpetrator? Do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact. It's the biggest scandal to hit the station in ages. Everything's topsy-turvy. But Detective Gumshoe, who was it? Listen, pal, all I know is I need me a steak lunch pronto. Standing around here talking isn't gonna fill my belly. Wow, okay. Wait, don't leave. If you want to know more, head on down to the detention center, pal. Questioning should be over, so I figure he's down there having a good cry. Later. Wow, I wonder who it is. He ran off to the evidence room. Well, this investigation is off to a running start. Do you think he would let us into the evidence room if we go back here? It doesn't look like it. I'm wondering. Yeah. I wonder if there's any blood here, huh? Let's take a look around. Anything on his outfit? No. Hat? Oh, there's some on the cactus. Someone got hurt here. Wow, we got a reaction. There's clearly blood around the spines here. This room's pretty messy. Someone must have tripped over something and planted their head right in these spines. Ouch, that sounds like it hurts. I think that might be more painful than being murdered. I don't know about that, Emma. Anything else? No. Just the cactus, it would seem. Good thing we have infinite luminol, right? Alright. Well, let's go see the person who they arrested, right? So we need to go to... Well, we can't go directly there, can we? We know that the underground parking lot won't take us there, and also the criminal affairs department won't take us there. And the guard station won't take us there either, so let's go to our office. Is there anything new to talk about? No, just sort of what to do. Okay. Oh, we can get to the detention center from here. Okay, so we have to go to our office to go to the detention center. Okay. Here we are in the visitor room, right? Still, I do feel better about things. A little. I mean, they caught the person who stabbed Detective Goodman, didn't they? Yeah, I guess they did. Best to not go too far down that road right now. Things will just get confusing. Ooh. What was that? Sir, that's what I'm saying. Me, a perpetrator? I'd say I was the perpetrated against, sir. That's what I'd say. Oh no! It's Officer Meekins. What did this guy get himself into? Hi, greetings, sir. Wait, I know who you are. Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth, anywhere on the premises? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir. Officer Meekins, so you're a guard here at the detention center? No, sir, I'm not, sir. I'm a little lost patrolman, like a little lost lamb, sir. Oh, I get it. You're here to deliver a report? No, sir, how should I say this? Wait, he isn't... Is he? You, Officer Meekins. You didn't, did you? Perpetrator Officer Meekins reporting, sir. What? What? Now this is an unexpected turn of events. Sir, I'm a patrolman with General Affairs, sir. Sir! Ow, I can hear you fine, Officer Meekins. I had some business that day, sir, and so I went to the evidence room, sir. The guard station in front of the room was empty, sir. So, normally there's a guard at the evidence room? That's right, sir, because evidence is kept in the evidence room, sir. Now, the security officer was none other than Officer Marshall. Marshall? Then, sir, I happened to glance at the security room monitor. That's when I saw him, sir. A suspicious person in the evidence room. A suspicious person, sir. A suspicious person! Yeah! What the heck is this guy doing? So what happened then? After that, sir, everything went right. I saw red, I blacked out. And when I came to, I was here, in the detention center. How long were you out? Days? Might I ask, what happened to your hand? Sir, there was no one to bandage me, sir. So I did what I could to wrap it up, sir. A bandage on his hand? Just like Miss Sky. That is quite a coincidence, right? They both had a bandage on their hand. Yet another similarity between this case and the one at the prosecutor's office. First things first, tell us how you hurt your hand. I don't mean to pry, but you are the perpetrator, correct? You killed Detective Bruce Goodman in the evidence room, right? Sir, please don't look at me with those sad puppy dog eyes, sir. If you have to label me as a perpetrator or victim, sir, then label me as victim. I would, but you happen to be in detention, and alive and well at that. Ah, yes. Well, that's true, sir. I suppose you could say that. Did you know the victim, Detective Goodman? Well, sir, if I had to label him as a stranger or a total stranger, then I'd say he leans heavily on the total stranger side. So, you didn't know him? Sir, I work in a tiny department devoid of light or other creature comforts. I don't know any detectives. So, if he was a total stranger, why did you stab him? Sir, I had no intention of killing him, sir, none. Nor do I have any recollection of killing him, sir. At least someone around here is more confused than I am. About your hand. Did that happen during the course of the crime? Well, you see, sir, don't you think you should just confess? But sir, but there was nothing I could do. Nothing you could do? Sir, to tell the truth, when it happened, when that detective pointed that knife at me, I just hollered, sir. And the next thing I knew, I was unconscious. Yeah, the feedback, right? From his bullhorn, I think is what those are called, right? A bullhorn? The next thing you knew, you were, huh? Then, when I opened my eyes, I was alone in the evidence room, sir. All alone. Alone because Detective Goodman had disappeared. What? Then when I looked down, I was gushing blood from my hands, sir. Oh, the shock! Oh, the sorrow, sir! Can you imagine how I felt? The victim's body disappeared? That's some story. Wow, is that all? Let's see if we can present something to him. I want him to look at this ID badge, because this seems to get a reaction from a lot of folks. Do you think you could take a look at this? Hey! That's it, sir! That's it! That's it! That's what? My head was a blank until this very moment. But sir, now I remember. I remember, sir. You mean you remember what happened? Correct. That card was the cause of it all. This ID card? Exactly, sir. That's exactly it. Nothing could be more exact, sir. Nothing. I better pry into this one a little deeper. Alright, so let's ask him some questions. Nice. Can you tell me what it is you do remember? Well, sir, you might say I'm a little lost patrolman, a lost little lamb, if you will. I didn't know Mr. Detective Goodman, who was in that evidence room. And that's why you thought he looked suspicious. Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to show me his ID card. Well, that sounds pretty much by the book so far. That's right, sir. That's what I've been trying to tell you. So you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do? That's the thing. Suddenly he pointed a knife at me. What? Sir, I assure you I was as flustered as you are right now. So I whooped and leapt at him. Detective Goodman pointed a knife at him. Do unto others before they do unto you. My father's own words, sir. What happened then? Well, my eyes, sir, everything went white. When I awoke, I was here. Right. So, Officer Meekins, why was it that they arrested you? What do you mean, Emma? Let's look at what we know. Now, Officer Meekins didn't know Detective Goodman. And the victim, whom he met at the scene of the crime, didn't show his ID card. In other words, we have no way of knowing if the victim was really the victim. And if this body just disappeared from the evidence room, we don't even know if anyone actually died. That's it, sir. That's what I wanted to say. That is, I did say something along those lines. Huh? But you still ended up here? They told me that it had to be him, sir. On that day, at that time. Detective Goodman was definitely in the evidence room. That's what they said. But you don't remember the events clearly? No, but the videotape is quite clear. Huh? Videotape? From the security camera. The crime, my crime, the crime I swore to stamp out. It's there, it's me, it's on tape. And you waited until now to tell us this? I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, sir. I'll hand over my badge, I don't deserve it. No thanks, I have my own. Well, guess we better go check out the crime scene. Okay, well, I guess we better go check out the crime scene. They've given us directions, huh? Alright, let's move on back to... Is there anything at the crime scene? Looking around, does she have anything to say? She doesn't have anything new to say to us. Then why don't we keep looking? Why don't we go back to the police department evidence room? Right? First, we need to go to the guard station. We can't get in here, though, huh? Maybe we can go see Gumshoe at the Criminal Affairs Department? Hey, Mr. Wright, look who's standing at the Chief of Detectives' desk. It's Police Chief Gant. Oh, so we're running into Gant first, huh? Okay. Well, tell us what's going on, Gant. And you're sure this is all, hmm? You know what it means if there is anything missing. Sir, I'm sure it's most likely totally perfect. We checked all of his drawers, lockers, garbage cans, bags, coat pockets, hats, under his seat cushion, behind his computer monitor, inside his personal coffee machine. I see. Well, if anything does turn up, you call me right away. Deal? Yes, sir. We'll scour the place again, sir. The Chief of Detectives looks a little flustered. Aha! Righto, my boy. How you been? Swim much? Oh, Chief Gant, reporting for duty, sir. Why are you saluting him, Mr. Wright? Is Edgeworth gonna be okay? Oh, Worthy? Oh, you know, they're doing a little inquiry committee with him. Sounds like an inquisition. Yep, well, they've had no end of trouble with the boy since last year. You mean the incident on Gourd Lake? It doesn't look good having a top prosecutor sit in the defendant's seat, does it? And you got someone else found guilty in that case, right, Righto? Von Karma. A legend he was, undefeated in his 40-year career. But in court, you fixed it so he was caught for forging evidence. Wait, I didn't do anything. He did forge evidence. In any case, the prosecutor's office is in a bit of turmoil, you might say. Why, they'd do just about anything to restore their reputation. Now, depending on what that inquiry committee decides, it could be bad for Worthy. What? It's downright odd, I tell you, the detective getting killed on their turf, too. I mean, they're being the prosecutors, I mean? Scientifically speaking, it's impossible. Yes, but that's what the evidence is saying. Goodman was stabbed in 2 locations at the same time. That's what it says. What evidence is this? Now, Righto, I can't give away all our secrets just like that. And this in particular, well, it's a little sensitive and I can't talk about it. I wasn't expecting much anyway. You know, one thing I hate most of all is hiding stuff. Secrets. Can't stand them. But you know, it's a full-time job just keeping the Chief of Detectives' trap shut. Ah, he was the one you were picking on earlier? Huh? You saw that? Oops. I wonder what it was that he wanted the Chief of Detectives to do. Let's see if we can kind of discreetly ask him. Is there a way to discreetly ask him? Okay. Well, is there something to look at here? Let's look around. So, this is the police mascot, is it? The Blue Badger, the future star of the police force. The design's a little changed from the one outside. Ah, well, the dancing Blue Badger is still under development, you see. You have it trademarked? Absolutely, it's cutting-edge stuff. Very now. I showed this doll here to my daughter and she burst into tears. Don't show her the moving mock-up outside then, you'll give her nightmares. Okay. That must be one of the detectives. He's mumbling something to himself. I know, the killer used a cassette tape. What a crafty trick! That gunshot was a fake! This is good. No one will expect a cassette tape in this day and age. He's not writing a report. He's writing a novel. Okay. Okay. These are the detectives' desks. There are computers and files on each one. Funny, they're a lot tidier than I'd expect. I guess the detectives don't spend a lot of time at their desks. Oh, sorry you had to see that. What exactly did the chief of police want you to do? Well, see over there? That's Goodman's desk. He wanted me to check it for anything that might be a clue. They took away every last piece of garbage in the trash can. So nothing belonging to Detective Goodman is still here? Of course not. Well, except for this. What? You kept something? Sure, why not? It's not important. You didn't even finish writing it. It's a lost item report, but it's only half complete. Lost item? Did Detective Goodman lose something? The date on it is February 21st. Better make a note of that just in case. Alright, Goodman's lost item report has been added to the court record, dated February 21st. That's also the date on the note, right, with the incident's number. And only be submitted to Chief of Police. I should really get back to investigating the police department crime scene. Okay. Well, does he have anything else to say? Ah, there is something new to say. Permission to enter. Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you a favor. Huh? Well, I never thought the day would come when Wright asked me for help. I was wondering if we could investigate the evidence room. Now, Righto. Actually, I'm sorry, I don't need to investigate after all. Righto, please. Do I look like a selfish man? Huh? Heck, if anyone asked me, sir, can I borrow $50? I'd give them $50, no problem. So go ahead. Investigate that room to your heart's content. Knock yourself out. Just goes to show you never know until you ask. And for you, here, you can borrow this. Oh, hey! This is a detective's ID card, isn't it? That's a special card for guests, so don't lose it. Yes, sir, it's an honor. You just run along and do your best now. Later, folks. It looks pretty cool on my lapel, doesn't it? Just think, a real ID. You seem happy. Yes, sir. Because, sir, we get to go into the evidence room now, sir. I think this place is a bad influence on the girl. Alright, well, Gant left and gave us permission, so I guess it's time for us to go investigate the evidence room, huh? Alright. Here we are at the security guard station. Can we move into the room? No, it doesn't just let us do it. Maybe we need to examine the card reader, right? The evidence room is beyond that door. And we have the ID card from Chief Gant. Let's just walk in. It won't open. Aha! The card reader is turned off, see? What is that security guard thinking? Howdy, partners. Well, 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 what's made my Bambina's skies so gray? Officer Marshall. Why does it have to be him? What's that why does it have to be him look for? As you may have surmised, this here's my saloon. We're here to investigate the crime scene. Yeehaw! That card you got there on your chest. That's better than a sheriff's badge in these parts. Yeehaw! Well, what you standing there for? Get along, little doggies. The crime scene's awaiting. Looks like the card reader's on again. While we're here, I was wondering if we could ask you some questions. Sorry, cowboy, but I got no mind to tangle with you hombres. You're busy then? Did I say that? I only said I didn't wish to speak with you. Actually, you said you had no mind to tangle with us hombres. Okay, well, will he talk to us? Let's talk to him anyway. I was wondering if we could talk to you. Sorry, Bambina, but I'm off to roam the lands like a tumbleweed on the wide prairie. Like a gunslinger loading his six-shooter, I say a little prayer. What was that all about, Mr. Wright? I think he was just too hungry to talk. You're just saying that because his stomach was growling. You have no idea what he was talking about either. Well, in any case, we need to get cracking on this investigation pronto. Well, if his stomach is growling, I think we know how to solve that, right? Didn't we get a lunch for him from his girlfriend? Let's try giving him the lunch and see if he does anything different, right? That smell. Ah, reminds me of Texas. So, Officer Marshall, you're from Texas? No, I just saw a special on television the other day. Is this for my baby? Yeah, Miss Starr. What's this? What? What's wrong? A filet steak lunch. I see. I don't see. I wonder what it means. Steak lunch given to Officer Marshall. Alright, Bambina, you win. Ask anything? Finally, it seems like he's willing to talk. Alright. So talk to us, buddy. Officer Marshall, you're in charge of security for the evidence room, right? You got good eyes, partner. It's an easy job, and I'm grateful for it. Actually, Officer Meekins of the detention center told us. Ah, that poor little doggy. Poor guy, I keep getting his name wrong and calling him Meekly. He told us something. He said that when the stabbing occurred, you weren't at your station. Well, maybe I shouldn't be telling you this. But since I got demoted from detective 2 years ago, well, it might not look it, but I lost my fire for the job, you know? So, what were you doing around 5:15 when the murder took place? Well, I reckon I was galloping down the highway on the back of my steed, Zippy. Note, he was riding down the highway on his horse named Zippy. There's no need for people here anyhow. These newfangled machines do a bang-up job of keeping an eye on the place. You mean the security camera system? I don't take to machines much. Kinda like that stewed broccoli they sneak in next to your steak, you know? Miss Starr told us something. She said that you were a detective until 2 years ago. It was always my dream to be a rawhide wrangler on the scene of the crime. That's all gone now, like a drinking hole in a prairie fire. You're still investigating the SL9 incident with Miss Starr, aren't you? That was my case. It's all solved on the record books, but it smells like a bad game of poker. I can't let it go. That's all there is to it. What kind of case was it anyway? We've heard the name so many times, but no one tells us what actually happened. There are some things you're better off not knowing, Bambina. Anyway, that case is officially dead as of 2 days ago. 2 days ago? The day of our case. That's right. The evidence transferals. Edgeworth was talking about the transferals too. I know what may be 2 of the machines in here, I do. Only 2 of them? There must be a dozen. Like I said, Bambina, me and machines, well, I like them about as much as I like stewed cauliflower with my steaks. The easiest ones to understand are these here security cameras. Those are the ones that Officer Meekins mentioned. If nothing happens, the tapes are automatically erased every few hours. And Officer Meekins and Detective Goodman, are they on one of those tapes? I reckon they might be. You're the security guard and you reckon? One more thing. When you go into the evidence room, you need an ID card. Thus, the card reader by the door. The card reader leaves a record of every ID card that passes through. All right. So, this is the ID card record. Hey, I've seen that somewhere before. Sorry, Bambina, I can't show you more than that. Huh? I haven't heard whether this is related to the case yet. Mr. Wright, I saw a number on that record just now. I've seen that number before. Maybe there's some way I can prove that record is tied to the stabbing. Sorry, but could you explain what this whole transferal thing is about? We only keep evidence from solved cases in this room. They're kept here under the presiding detective's supervision for 2 years. So we can reinvestigate them if it turns out there was a mistake, see? So, what happens to the evidence after 2 years? It goes to sleep forever in the underground vault at the county sheriff's department. That's what we call transferal. We do it every February. I see now. Transferal is like a funeral for old cases. 2 years after a case is solved, it's closed forever. Dead. Never to be reopened again. Never to be reinvestigated. And that happened to SL9 2 days ago. Alright, well, we need to show him something that is related to the room, right? So let's show him Goodman's ID, because I think that ID card number was on the list. See this? This is the victim's ID card. Ah, the one that was on the ground in the parking lot? The number on this is 584-2189. Officer Marshall, show us that ID card record again. All right, there it is on the ID card record at 514, right? Well, there were 2 different scans at 514. There was our guy with the Officer Goodman card, and then there was a second one, right? Look, the 4th number, it's a perfect match. It was used at 514, right before the stabbing. What's more, there's only one of them cards in the whole world. So when the incident occurred, Detective Goodman was in the evidence room. But wait, what did Officer Meekins say? Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to display his ID card. So you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card? What did he do? That's the thing. Suddenly he pointed a knife at me. If he had his ID card then, why would he have pointed a knife at Officer Meekins? All right, compadre, you win. I guess I can give you this ID card record. All right, have that added to the record here. I've got an idea. Maybe I should show this list to other people with IDs here. Let's take a closer look at this, right? Okay, so we know this was Bruce Goodman, right? I have the feeling 498-9596. This might be Officer Meekins, right? Because he said he entered the room after Bruce Goodman. Right? And who's 7777777, huh? Where are all these people? Okay, let's go back. All right, well, since we're allowed to go into the evidence room now, right? We better check it out while we have a chance. It's quiet. The investigation must be over in here. So this is the evidence room. It really is kind of like a graveyard. Graveyards are supposed to have grass and trees. This feels more like a morgue. Nice try, Mr. Wright. You can't scare me. Hey, look who it is! Eek! Whoa! Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I wouldn't recommend going around smacking ghosts on the head, pal. So, is it true what I heard? Righto, please, do I look like a selfish man? Heck, if anyone asked me, sir, can I borrow $50, I'd give them $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate that room to your heart's desire, knock yourself out. Yeah, it's true. So, Chief of Police Gant will loan anyone $50? Even me? Oh, so that's what you were talking about. Actually, I was put in charge of the investigation for today. Just for today? Boss for a day. But guess what? You got permission from the chief, so now you're boss for a day. Gee, thanks. First of all, you want to have this. We have the evidence room floor plans. Alright, well let's go ahead and examine those floor plans, right? Let's take a look real quick. Alright, not a whole heck of a lot going on here, but this is an L-shaped room. So I'm wondering if there might be some kind of a line of sight issue with our witness. But let's find out. Okay. Come on, Gumshoe, tell us the tea. So, Detective Gumshoe, your boss for the day? That's right, it's an honor. After all, the murder took place right here in the police department. But if you're boss, why are you all alone? Where are your underlings? They're using yesterday's findings to prepare for tomorrow's trial. In other words, you got kicked out of the investigation. Again. I'm adamant, though. I'm gonna take control and put this case to rest. In my own evidence locker, pal. You have a locker in here too, Detective Gumshoe? Of course. I am a detective after all. They gave me a locker that only I can open, pal. Only you can open. I'll always believe in Mr. Edgeworth, no matter what happens. So, Mr. Edgeworth is with the inquiry committee right now, right? They're trying to figure out who's responsible for the mess-up in court today. I see. I guess this is what you call fate. Mr. Edgeworth just can't get away from that case. That case? Yeah, that case. The SL9 incident, of course. That was the beginning of the end for Mr. Edgeworth. Maybe we can get him to tell us more about the case. This place is more high-tech than you might think. Every locker is fixed so that only one detective can open it. Using their ID card? Well, that's the thing, pal. ID cards can be lost. Why, I'm on my 3rd card since entering the force already. That sounds like a lot. Yeah, but even I can't lose my own right hand. Ah, so they have some kind of a handprint or fingerprint identification, huh? Some biometrics here. Right hand? Oh, you mean your fingerprint? Exactly, pal. The lock for each locker is coated with a fingerprint. So, the only locker we can open is our own. Funny, they look like normal lockers. These are the latest model. There's a trick to the handles, see? The handles? On the other side of the handles is a sensor, and if the wrong person touches it, zap! You get a shock. That's what happened, my hand would be black and smoking every day. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. Alright, so the indicator lamp lights up when it's open. Alright. Well, let's take a look around this room a little bit. There's something sticking out here. It looks like a shirt. I guess it must be evidence for some case. I wonder if Detective Gumshoe put this here. There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of slob. I'm not responsible for the evidence here. That said, I bet that evidence locker was opened recently. How do you know? If you leave things hanging out like that, the evidence gets dirty or ripped. The guard checks on that kind of stuff and notifies the detective responsible. How many times have I had him breathing down my neck about some silly evidence? Sounds like Detective Gumshoe leaves evidence hanging out a lot, too. I bet he doesn't tuck in his shirt under that trench coat either. If you're gonna talk behind someone's back, don't do it right in front of them, pal. That's a good point. What's going on here? Wow, look at this big pile of junk in the corner. That looks like a car door. There's a pair of handcuffs attached to the frame. Maybe the guy they caught was some sort of escape artist and he got away. Hey, that's one of those human profiles for target range testing. He's been shot square in the forehead. Better him than us. What about this? Some sort of bulky equipment is gathering dust here. What a sorry-looking fishing pole that is. Ah, that's my personal pole. I never did get around to using it. Wait, I've seen that somewhere before. Right, pal, that's that metal detector. The one that led to the solving of that case out on Gourd Lake, remember? Oh, right. Wow, that feels like it was ages ago. And... I don't think I've seen this one before. Oh, that's a bug sweeper. I'm sure it'll come in handy in solving some case sooner or later. That cheap-looking box? You can't judge a person or a machine by their cover. You gotta look at their heart. Okay, alright. We look at everything here? Okay. This place is stuffed with evidence, stuffed with dreams. I'm not so sure about the dreams. Huh! It won't open. Did you really think it would? Hey pal, our security's high-tech around here. Alright, looks like we looked at everything here. There's the door. That's the door we just came in through. Looks like you don't need an ID card to get out. I wonder what would happen if Officer Marshall cut the power while we were inside. Let's hope he remembers we're in here. Yeah, I don't want to have the power cut out either. Alright, let's slide to the right. What's up here? Looks like some cans of paint. Is this a bloody handprint? What's going on here? What's this? Blood! It's a little worn, but there's definitely a handprint here. It looks like someone tried to wipe it off. Mr. Wright! What if there are other blood stains left in the room? We should use her testing fluid to check it out. Yeah, we absolutely should, right? Let's go ahead and get the luminol out and start spraying it all over the place, huh? Oops. We don't need to examine the luminol. Let's try presenting it. Oops. Allow me to say one thing, speaking as a detective. If I see a piece of evidence I know nothing about, I say nothing. Nothing. That's fine. You bet it's fine, pal. Oh, so it's just presenting him with this, huh? Well, that didn't help. Let's keep looking around. So here there's an open evidence locker. Look, this one's open, and a red indicator light above the door is lit. That locker is coated with Detective Goodman's fingerprint. Detective Goodman's locker? Are you sure it's okay to leave it open like that? Well, it'd be hard to get it open again if we closed it. It's empty. They must have taken the contents elsewhere. What's on the ground here, huh? Wow, someone must have broken something big to make all these pieces. Detective Gumshoe, perhaps? There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of hooligan. That's apparently from the case. The case? The SL9 incident, pal. See the sticker on one of the pieces here? Another piece of SL9 evidence. Well, we're definitely gonna have to look at it closer, right? I wonder what shape these pieces were in before whatever it was broke. You want to try to put it back together? Ha! Good luck, pal. That's no job for amateurs. Why, I spent a good 3 hours on that before I had to give up. That's why I always carry around a tube of glue. Well, this piece looks like the bottom. Let's try putting the rest in place. Oh, geez, look at all these pieces, you guys. Okay. Let's rotate. See if one of these other pieces fits better, huh? No, I'm not seeing it. Maybe this piece? There we go. Okay. Alright. And this one... Oh, I think we've already got it. That's in our hands right here, huh? No? Do we need to rotate it? Alright, well this is obviously the top, and this is at the top too. Maybe this one? Alright, we're getting there. It's this one. Maybe this? I think this is it. There we go. Now it's coming together. Huh? There we go. What in the heck is this object? A strange... Huh. Alright. Looking good. Oh, and there's a big hole in it, too. Huh? Well, I think we did it, but some of the pieces are missing. Yeah, I got that far too in 2 minutes myself. The problem is finishing it. Were some pieces stolen? I bet they were missing to begin with. Still, it doesn't look like the most stable kind of jar. Kinda understand how it got broken. Alright, so this unstable jar is missing a piece. Anything else? Let's examine... How about this glove? Someone left a glove here, but only one. Detective Gumshoe, maybe? It's got a tag on it, right? SL911. There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of absent-minded detective. That's evidence from the case, you know. You mean SL9? It does have a tag on it. It's an extremely thin rubber glove. Okay. Anything else? We got some paint. What is a saw and paint doing here? Since the dawn of time, true art has always been a war against oppression. True art? I noticed that there's blue and yellow paint here. Perhaps we're witnessing the birthplace of the Blue Badger? Well, you might say this is my studio. Here, in the evidence room? Alright. Well, I think we've seen just about everything that this has to offer us, huh? Let's try presenting some stuff to Gumshoe. Oh, the evidence locker is on here. What happens if we show him the evidence locker? Does he say anything? You can't open the lockers if your fingerprint doesn't match. If you can open it, they'll give you 50 cents. Note, the police department lacks faith in its lock system. After all, Detective Goodman was stabbed here after opening his locker. But at the same time, he was found dead over at the prosecutor's office. How about this ID card record, right? Could you take a look at this? This is the ID card record of the people who came in here on the day of the stabbing. Ah, I heard the rumors. So it was Goodman who came in here at the time of the murder. Whoa! What is it? That second number. It's not your ID number, is it, Detective Gumshoe? Mr. Edgeworth. What? The second number on this list belongs to Mr. Edgeworth. What? So Edgy was in the room. Why would Edgeworth have come to the evidence room? Gosh, look at that. All right. Does he have anything to say about it? No, nothing to say about it. He looks pissed, though. All right, let's see if there's anything else we can show him. How about this note from Goodman with the date on it? Detective Goodman's note, and that switchblade knife. I bet Edgeworth was the most surprised of anyone. Because of the SL9 connection? That was Mr. Edgeworth's first big case, you know, 2 years ago. That was the first time the world knew Edgeworth was a man to be feared. But why would evidence from that case turn up now? I guess it's not over, pal. Maybe there are some loose ends left on that case. Wow, loose ends, huh? Alright. Well, anything else? I'm showing him the rubber glove. Does that do anything? Allow me to say one thing, speaking as a detective. If I see a piece of evidence I know nothing about, I say nothing. Nothing. That's fine. You bet it's fine, pal. Alright, well, he doesn't know anything about it. I guess there's nothing else to do but try to use the luminol again, I guess? Let's try accessing it from here. No? I feel like I'm supposed to be using this luminol, right? Yeah. Let's examine. Let's try accessing it like this. No, it keeps showing us the luminol. It has her name on the bottom. That's funny. I'm gonna click on that. Someone used a marker to write their name on this. Emma Sky. Don't tell me you bring this with you everywhere you go. Well, you never know where something might go down. Just what kind of world do you think we live in? Well, she's pretty accurate, actually. This has come in handy. Zoom in, zoom out. Now, this really doesn't do anything for us. Gosh, there's gotta be a way to use the luminol. Did I miss something? Oh, there's a button for spray. Okay. Spray, here we go. Ooh, blood right here. Why am I getting a reaction here? There's no reason for the murderer to touch this spot if he fled out the door. This just might be something significant. Hey, that's some pretty amazing stuff you got there, pal. What, this? It's called luminol testing fluid. Where'd you get your hands on that? Huh? I'd like to get some too. I'll just borrow 50 bucks from the chief. Where do you get this, Emma? I always buy it by mail order. Well, I'd better jot this down on the floor plans. Alright, any other blood, huh? Blood on the door? No? Blood over here? No? Any blood here? Yeah. I knew it! This is someone's right handprint. What? What's the matter, detective? This locker, it's mine. It's yours. Please. You have to help me when they come to take me away. Promise you'll testify I wouldn't hurt a fly. You'll do that for me, won't you, pals? This is an important clue. I'll jot it down on the floor plans. I'm counting on you guys. Believe me, I can't trust the police. What? But you're a detective. Alright, anything else? There's blood all over the place here. Oh geez, look at all this blood. That must have been one massive pool of blood. Never seen anything like it. I'm not a professional. What's your opinion, detective? Pale blue blood. Maybe Detective Goodman was actually an alien? This proves that something really happened in front of this locker. I'll make a note of it on the floor plans. Hey, if you didn't want my opinion, you shouldn't have asked. I think this is the place where Goodman may have stepped in the blood, right? It looks like a footprint right there. Let's keep looking. Anything else? I think that's just about everything we can find, huh? Alright. Let's go back. Anything else to say? Ah, there is something to say. Now that was a bloody violent case. Violent. So it was a murder? A serial killing. A serial killing? Maybe I don't want to get involved in this after all. But the killer made a mistake, and Mr. Edgeworth built his case around that to nab him. And this was 2 years ago? That put Mr. Edgeworth right in the spotlight and started the rumor mill. Rumors about forged evidence? It was supposed to be all cleaned up with the transferal the other day. It was the last job he ever did. Detective Goodman, that is. Huh? What do you mean? Detective Goodman was the detective in charge of the SL9 incident, see? So that switchblade knife. The victim took the knife out of the evidence locker himself? Hey, pal, look at the time. Was there something you needed to be going to? It's just that Mr. Edgeworth's inquiry committee should be letting out soon. I'm going to give them my report for the day. What is this, a restaurant? It might help, you know? Report? You mean the note written on the back of that flyer? The one that says nothing but no problems? Hey, it's Mr. Edgeworth we're talking about. I'm sure he can use a report like this. I believe in him. Who needs enemies when you got friends like Detective Gumshoe? I'm off, pal. Later. I should probably see what Edgeworth has to say, too. All right. And with that, I think we should probably wrap up the stream for the day. It's a little after when I wanted to stop, but there was so much cool stuff going on in the story, we had to keep going for a little longer than usual. So thank you so much for supporting for supporting my stream and for tuning in tonight. I hope that you had a good time. This is really starting to heat up, so I'm excited for the next time we get together to finish out this case, huh? So I'll see ya on Sunday. Take care and have an awesome evening. Bye now.